You know, it occurred to me that I once reviewed Ride Along on my channel. So I figured something like that I'll give you a quick, raw, unedited review of Ride Along 2. Now, I understand why a lot of people didn't like the first Ride Along. Critics hated it, and a lot of people I know thought it was just absolutely stupid. You're right, it is stupid. But to me, it's one of those comedies where you know it's a comedy, you know it's a movie. The situations and the outcomes that happen in this film are not real. You don't want them to be real. You don't want these things to exist in the real world. But again, it's just a movie. It's a comedy. Now, I personally thought it was funny. Funny enough. Not hilarious, but it was funny enough. I was amused. I like the pairing of Ice Cube and Kevin Hart, and I love Ice Cube, period, because I practically idolized the guy. But it was good enough, just to waste some time with. So with the second Ride Along 2, which I saw last week, wasn't really in a hurry to review it. But I did talk about it on the Reader Film podcast. Friday night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Red Guerrilla Network.com, or on live streaming, youtube.com/relivefilm. Had to throw that out there because I really highly recommend you check out our podcast. It's a lot of fun. I talked about the film on that podcast. I'm going to talk about it here. Basically, it's more or less the same, with a few improvements and some downgrades. Improvement-wise, we get a lot more action. The action is better. The action is more exciting. The movie is very well paced. For a comedy that's an hour and 45 minutes, sometimes a comedy like this can be really long. It can feel long, but this was a quick-paced comedy, and, it was kind of fun to watch. There's a lot to look at, a lot of nice scenery. You got some beautiful ladies walking around, and you got just a well-made film to where it's appealing to the eyes. In the comedy department, though, that's where we seem to get a downgrade. And, with the first film not being that hilarious in the first place, that's something you don't want. That's something I didn't want. I was hoping this could be a funnier movie, since they had a bigger budget and they know that some people like the first film. Maybe they could have made it better. Unfortunately, they kept it more or less the same, which is unfortunate. And what's unfortunate is my frame rate keeps dropping. I don't like that. Anyway, in the comedy department, we still got Kevin Hart, who I admire for his energy. I love his enthusiasm, but he really does come off more as a very desperate clown sometimes. I mean, I'm not gonna say he's not funny at all, but in this movie, because he's funny, period. I like Kevin Hart, but he just comes off as more desperate in this one. And the decisions the decisions that he makes and the antics that he gets into are really stupid. And the fact that he wants to be a cop, a detective, no. Again, I know it's a movie and it's a comedy and it's a silly situation to have in a comedy, but I wouldn't trust this guy with a stray cat, let alone my life, in the name of the law. He's always putting Ice Cube's character in danger, other people in danger. He has to constantly be saved, and it's kind of annoying. But there are some funny moments, I'm not gonna lie. With Ice Cube, who, of course, is always the straight man. He's always the guy, just... Kevin Hart acts like a wild clown. Ice Cube is the guy that just basically stand there, shake his head, and smack him when he needs to. And that's cool. That's what I like from Ice Cube. In this one, he seems to be having a little more fun. He's got a few funnier lines, a few funny situations that he gets into. But he's more or less the same guy in the first film. There were moments, though, where he's passing by hot, beautiful women, and he's focused on the case, he's focused on his job, and I wish he would have just looked at a woman once and be like, damn. Yeah, I'm with Atlanta PD here, ask you some questions. Damn. I mean, why wouldn't you? Olivia Munn is in the film, and oh god, that woman is sexy. I love her. She's talented, she's sexy. She holds her own in the movie, but, she's more or less kind of the eye candy of the film. There's not a whole lot for her to do, but she does what she can, and I do like that her and Ice Cube don't necessarily have chemistry together, but when Kevin Hart is acting silly, and then you got Kim Jong, who's a new addition to the series, teaming up with Kevin Hart, and there's a scene when they're on a stakeout, and these two are just talking and yakking, going on about Star Wars and all kinds of other debates. Ice Cube and Olivia Munn are in the front seat, and they're just like, wow, shaking their heads. I enjoyed that. So you got two straight-laced people in the film, and then you have, the two crazy comedians in the back. So that was kind of fun. But overall, I mean, you got a lot of generic stuff in here. You have Benjamin Bratt, who plays a very generic villain. And of course, the plot and everything involved is exactly what you've seen in many movies before. You know exactly where it's gonna go. So it's super I say that a lot, super predictable. And it's just, it gets kind of troublesome. Of course, you don't expect originality from this film. You do expect a laugh, and unfortunately, I didn't laugh enough. I chuckled, but I didn't laugh enough to give this movie a full recommendation. So I'm gonna have to give Right Along a 2.5 out of 5. The first Right Along barely made it though. I gave it a 3. This one gets a slight lower grade. And I'll be honest, it's because I love Ice Cube and I like Kevin Hart a lot. I love looking at Olivia Munn and Kim Jong I like. But everything else in the film, if it wasn't for them, I would probably really dislike this movie. But overall, it's one of those movies that I would put on just for background noise, or if I really just don't want to think too much, I'll put it on just for the hell of it. And also, I want to make a quick note: the soundtrack is so generic. I mean, there's some decent songs in the film, but they use a lot of generic hip hop tracks that usually. That they've been used so many times in commercials and other films. The fact that they still use Iggy Azalea's "Fancy," which was used in another Kevin Hart last year, which was "Get Hard," it's like, come on, just stop using that song, please. Anyway, that's my quick unedited, not so quick because it's 9 minutes long now. What the hell? Anyway, that was my review. Go see it if you really have to. I mean, I highly recommend you just skip it until it's out on Blu-ray or digital download. But anyway, if you like the first film, you might want to check it out. If you have seen the movie, let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you absolutely hate the first film and you hate the idea that there's a sequel, let me know your thoughts on that too. Alright guys, peace out. Watch out.